Hello everyone, Criticorn here. Today I'm going to be talking about Star Citizen and salvaging, my favorite career. I do want to mention I'm not a professional or very good at this game, and this info is probably already known to vets. It's also still in the development phase and it's always changing, so I will definitely make an updated video for you guys. I just wanted to make this for the newer players who weren't sure what to expect or what they would be doing as a salvager, and I found some really cool things that I didn't even know that got me even more excited about this. So I'm just going to jump right in and tell you guys how you're going to get paid potentially get paid as a salvager, I should say. The first way is going to be scrapping a ship entirely. What you're going to do is take the ship and mince it up into scrap metal and then go sell that to the appropriate factory. Now, right now, the only ship that can do that is the Reclaimer, and it's a very expensive ship. Not a lot of players can afford that. I wouldn't worry too much, though, because the devs just released a smaller version of the dedicated mining ship, which was also very expensive. But now with the smaller mining ship, it leads me to believe maybe they'll make a small version of the Reclaimer for you, so you can get a little bit of scrap while you're salvaging. And even if they don't, I wouldn't worry because there's a lot of other methods in order to make that money. The second's going to be cherry picking items off the ship that are still functional, whether it be the guns, the shields, the engines. Take those items off and go sell them on the market or upgrade your own ships with them. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of items that are in hot demand, and you can go scout them out and pick them off ships that you've come across and find. The next is going to be just flat out cargo. With all the piracy and battles that are going to be going around with cargo and transport ships, I'm sure you're going to come across a few ships where cargo had to be left behind because there was just no more room. So you can find that cargo and load it up in your hull and go sell it. The next is going to be intel, and intel breaks into two interesting categories I found. The first is going to be the hard intel, which is going to be the files or the programming or the research on a ship that somebody wants back, whether it be a company or an org. You collect that and then go sell it. The second is going to be location intel, and this is pretty grand because while you're exploring space, if you come across some things that you are not equipped to benefit off of financially or just don't have the time for and you're about to log off, sell those coordinates to somebody and make a little money on the side. And the devs have expressed interest in possibly giving discoverers some royalties. If you find an asteroid field and you're a salvager, so you don't have the mining lasers on board, you could sell that info to a company which might give you royalties because they're going to go farm that up and you make a little money that way. The next is going to be alien tech, and this is really exciting because it's probably not just limited to ship upgrades, but also armor upgrades and gun upgrades. Maybe you get to shoot a gun that can do something really unique that other guns can't, and that's really exciting. Obviously going to be very high in demand to get that alien tech, putting that piece of gear on your ship or that last item on your gun that you need. The next is going to be artifacts, and this is granted a little more rare as the devs have expressed, but you still can find them. And what artifacts do are essentially unlock these quests to holy grail items, as the devs have put it. These are going to be rare and not as successful, so there's going to be a lot of RNG involved. And as they put it, for every one guy who finds that holy grail, there were several who chose poorly, for my bad Indiana Jones reference, who didn't get quite so lucky and were either killed off or found nothing at the end of that rainbow. So it's really exciting with all these different methods of what you can do as a salvager. Salvaging is definitely going to have its own set of unique risks involved. The biggest being are the solo salvagers, the ones not running with the escorts or very large crews. You can hire AI, but we don't know how they'll handle at this point. So if you're considering running solo, at least consider bringing one other crew member along with you. And if that's never been a strong suit or you don't think it'd be too appealing, the community is actually really excited and said that even though they would never buy a salvage ship, they would love to serve on a reclaimer or go on a few salvaging expeditions. So finding one other crew member shouldn't be a problem, and I would strongly consider bringing one along. Of course, sharing some of the profit with them at the end can't hurt either. Now, piracy is a big question mark in my mind, and I haven't really come down one way or the other, but there are some valid points that would definitely need to be addressed, or mechanics that we just haven't been shown yet to see how piracy is going to play in the game. I'm sorry, but for those who are going to be mining asteroids, your locations are very easy to find for pirates as they just bookmark them. Same with running trade goods. Eventually, I'm sure the good routes are going to be bookmarked and pirates are going to know which trade routes are the best to hit. As for salvaging, I'm not sure if it's even worth it. As you jump from derelict ship to derelict ship, there might not be any salvagers there to begin with, and since you're not a salvager yourself, I don't know if the time is going to be worth stumbling upon a salvage ship versus hitting those bookmark locations where you know ships will be. Again, I'm not the pirate, so I wouldn't know. We're just going to need to wait for some mechanics and gameplay to come out to see how that's going to affect a salvager. The biggest thing that we do know will be a threat for salvagers is the alien jump scare factor. Devs have said that this is at the top of their priority of a fun little element they're putting within the derelict ships. As I'm going through the ship, I'm going to hear a weird noise behind me, turn around and see a shadow whip around a corner. I also might look at a motion monitor and see a big green dot coming at me, just like straight out of Aliens. I have to admit, I'll scream like a child when that happens, but I'll definitely record it and upload it for you guys because I have no shame. But the alien jump scare is another risk involved where they're going to be tearing you apart within the ship. They might even swim over to your ship, your salvage vessel, and tear it apart as well, and the crew members inside. It's definitely going to be a cool element, but one that definitely is going to have risk involved. Now, the last thing I want to talk about are the big derelict capital ships and stations that you might come across as a salvager. Should you happen to come across one of these, the developers have said you can repair them, but it's going to take a huge organization, a lot of work, time, and resources. And if your organization isn't up for repairing them, that's okay because you might be able to strip them for parts. Even if you can't strip these ships for parts, you can sell the coordinates, and that's going to be a lot of money because a lot of organizations want to own these particular items, especially the bigger organizations. So it's going to be a big payday as a salvager. Now, if you are allowed to strip off the weapons and the engines, you could then take all those items off, put them in storage, sell them on the market, which I'm sure people would pay money for, then go sell the coordinates to an organization of the ship you just stripped and make even more money off it. Either way, it seems like it's going to be a big payday for a salvager, even if your organization doesn't want to have anything to do with these ships. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just really making this for the fun of it, and I don't pretend to know everything about the game, so please feel free to let me know if my info was outdated or the game's changed drastically. I'd be happy to make that update video once we get more insight as to how the salvaging career is going to develop. If you want, I can also make videos possibly about the best salvaging ships or choices based on the info we have right now. A little bit of speculation involved with those ships, but I'd be happy to make any future videos while we wait for that content to come out. So please let me know in the comment section, and I will talk to you guys later.